Hi, and welcome to the sixth course on the HTML. Now today we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the CSS. Currently we saw the basic on how to insert the CSS. We did some basic style here on some paragraph and some H1 tag. Now what is really important about CSS is to learn more information on the selectors, because the deeper knowledge you have on the selector, the more things you can do. Today we're going to take a look at classes and ID. Now, before we start the lesson, we need to see two different things, which is very useful in CSS. We have div, which are usually will display in a block on your screen. So I'm just putting random text here, or let's just make it random text. Here we go. So this is the first thing we need to see. The second thing that we will see, it is the spam tag. Now, spam tag is very similar to the div tag, though the only difference is one's going to be in line, the other one's going to be in block. So when you use a spam inside your text, it's not going to deform your text. If I would have used a div here, it would break the line and would appear on a separate line here because it's considered as a block on its own. So it's not going to follow the paragraph or the flow of a text. Now those are very useful when we want to format a text. See, I can add it here again. And let me close my tag. Here we go. So now I have two spam. Oops, with a mistake. Two spam inside my document. Now if I refresh it, it's not going to change anything here. See, this is my second paragraph in random text, and nothing actually changed after answering the spam here in the text. It did not move or add any space. Now with those basic knowledge in, we can start looking at what is a class and an ID. Now, an ID is something we're going to be using only once in our page of its own, and a class is something we can use often. An ID will often be used, let's say, for a block that you repeat on your website. Let's say for the header, the content, a footer, or menu. So if I would have done a menu, I could say in my div here, then I would call it, oops, menu. Like this, everything in that div would be considered as a menu, and I can do a style just for my menu here. Or a class, I can use it often in my document. So in this case, I could say class alert, and say I can copy it and reuse it lower down in my document. Now the good thing with a class is when you modify it in your CSS style, oops, I called it alert, you can do one style who's going to be used all over your website. So in this case, let's say I want a color red for my alert, then all my tags which the alert class on it will become red. Now same thing if I want to do for my menu. The only difference, I'm going to be using the hashtag in front to declare that this is an ID and not a class. And now let's just put a random color here. I'm going to put yellow. Now here you go. See, I changed my class to yellow. Now to push things a little bit further with the class, like we saw, we can imbrick the class into one and the other. So let's say here I can say all the alerts in the menu ID should be red. So if I refresh here, see, this one is no longer red. You only have the alert here, which is red. So with the CSS, you can actually say only the contents inside another content. So in this case, you need to be in the ID menu. And if you have a class alert, they're going to be affected. All other class which are not in the ID are not going to be affected. So this is all for today's course, and stay tuned next week. So we're going to see more on the layout of a page with different column, footer, and a menu.